Hey everyone, welcome to Restaurant Tech Trends, where we explore restaurant technology trends with some of the industry's biggest movers and shakers in a rapid fire short interview format. This podcast is produced by Incept AI. Incept AI takes restaurant orders over the phone and in noisy drive-thrus with friendliness and precision. Learn more at incept.ai. Now to today's guest. I am joined by Kenneth Hallwachs, head of customer at PreciTaste, where he leads customer strategy at one of the most exciting AI-driven companies that's transforming restaurant kitchens. PreciTaste uses predictive AI and computer vision to help operators cut waste, improve labor efficiency, and automate back-of-house workflows. Technology that's already winning industry awards and driving real results for multi-unit brands. Kenneth blends deep restaurant ops experience with technology leadership, and today we're going to dig into what it takes to bring AI out of theory and into everyday kitchen performance. Kenneth, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Justin, for having me.
Excited to have you on here. I know we met once before in Atlanta, so now we get to chat again virtually. Let's start and talk a little bit about your background. Tell us a little bit about how you went from restaurant ops to PreciTaste. Were there any key moments that led you to your current spot?
Yeah, I've been in the restaurant world my whole life. To this day, my dad still owns restaurants back home in Germany, actually. So I've done anything from washing dishes to really managing the day to day. I don't mind getting my hands dirty and have worked for different companies in the US, from large corporations that have thousands of locations to small locations that have 60 plus. And I always love technology and always try to help these brands improve operations using technology and really making the life easier of the operator. Because I thought, okay, if I can make their life easier, my life is easier because I have to less troubleshoot and everything kind of blends together. And when I worked at my previous company and they kind of decided to sell the company and revamp things, I was like, okay, this is a perfect step for me to take a leap of faith, quit my job, and do something else. So I quit my job and found PreciTaste through some conversations. I knew about them and was like, okay, maybe they'd take me. This is a long shot, but I was like, I don't have much experience in the technology software world, but I knew I was an operations geek and I know how to blend technology and software together. And they saw the benefit in hiring me. And I just took a chance and it paid off really well so far. And here I am now, head of customer for a really exciting company.
That's awesome. When you were on the restaurant side, did you have any favorite pieces of technology that you used on a regular basis, or this was like whole new world for you coming over here now?
No, it's been, I mean, back, God, this was pre-COVID area. This was 2016, 17. We opened an American style restaurant back home in Germany, and cloud POS wasn't like just started out at that point. And we found a company, and my dad and I were like, okay, how do we stop taking this pen and paper thing and make the orders go quicker from table to the kitchen so we can get the food out faster?
Yeah.
Because it was always about churn and burn. Like, how do we get quickly those tables out and get more tables in? And we found this company, and that was probably the eye opener of like, okay, there is truly technology that helps restaurants. So it was with the iPad, you just walk to take the orders. You don't have to remember anything. You don't have to write everything down. And it just made the process so much faster. And I think that was the fun part of getting started in this world of really embracing technology.
Got it. Well, let's talk a little bit more about technology and PreciTaste. So my introduction to PreciTaste was actually at a former employer of mine. And at the time, PreciTaste, I think, was focused on creating computer vision cameras over make lines. But I know that you guys do a lot more now. Tell us about the evolution of PreciTaste and where you guys are at today.
Yeah, PreciTaste's been around since 2013. It originally started in the baking industry. This is where our founders kind of started the project of using vision to automate the cooking process in ovens. So the camera detects what food you put in the oven, it starts a cooking process, and it removes the human error of clicking what you're cooking right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we have done countless projects since then, really, with big companies around the world, until we really launched this new concept of, okay, how do we optimize operations based on all the experience that we have gathered over the last decade? And we decided to launch the prep assistant and planner and station, all this big concept now that really touches every aspect of the restaurant to a degree. And now really honing in not so much on projects anymore, but really like, okay, how do we build a back of house software that slowly takes away all these bits and pieces that people do still manual and make them feel better about it, utilizing software and making it intuitive. Really, really important is the intuitive part.
Mm-hmm.
Is people hate technology in the restaurant space. So how do you make them so they're like, see it and they're intuitively, oh, click here, done. I understand what to do. So I think that's the transition that we have done, and we continue to do this trend in this year and next year.
Got it. Would you say right now that demand forecasting is like a really big part of your business today, or is it a growing part, or is it still a small part of the business?
It is still like the core component of our business is really the demand. So, I mean, we predict product not just by the day, by in 15-minute increments for brands. We still use vision still to this day to analyze how much food is in the pan with one scoop accuracy and use that data to drive how much you should be making right now because this is the demand, this is the shelf life, all those kind of fun things. And taking this even further now with donut ordering process of predicting how many donuts you need to order in order to get through the day.
Right.
So we really hone in on it.
All right. Well, I want to just double click into this a little bit more because like so many operators today are still using spreadsheets, right, as the backbone of prep and inventory planning. What is the biggest problem with that model? Does it just like not work? Can't you just kind of figure it out with intuition and looking at like, past days and how you performed, last year on that certain day and time, or not really?
It really does. I mean, but those are the people who have worked in the industry for 30 years. Every young person that comes in just does not want to deal with this stuff anymore. Doesn't have the experience or the willingness to learn those kind of things. And I think spreadsheets that work great for some brands, but there are so many errors to it. First, you got to walk around through the restaurant manually counting on a piece of paper. Then you got to go to your computer, type in those numbers, put in the sales in, all those kind of things. Then you click print, take that sheet of paper, put it on the wall, and then you realize in this whole process, no, I totally forgot to count these things. And now we have to redo this whole process. It's a nightmare. And then, let alone, most people don't do it. They just wing it.
Yeah.
They have a spreadsheet, but they just wing it. And then, last but not least, you have no data. You don't know what's going on in any restaurant at any time in the preparation. Are they following? Are they not following? Are there history? Are they clicking through history? There is no databases in your prep whatsoever. So you're just running blindness and on trust.
Right. Well, I hope you have some good numbers to back up the great outcomes that you're creating for your clients. So tell us, like, what are some of the outcomes that your customers are seeing by switching from this more manual way of operating to the PreciTaste way? Do you have any like case studies that you can share? Any examples?
Yeah, we have done some amazing work. We worked with a partner here where I'm based out of with Dillas Quesadilla in Dallas, Texas. They have seen tremendous value in using our tool in optimizing prep labor. They have significantly reduced how much time it takes to do prep just by us helping them with the predictive model. So we don't prep chicken every single day or like prep cheese every single day. Now you can prep it every 2, every 3 days, right? It just removes a lot of time. We have worked with a large first party franchise, McKay Group, down in Houston and Austin area, and they have seen tremendous value in their cost of goods really going down. They have seen reductions there. They're saving a half to a full percent there on their P&L, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing $20-30 million business, saving 1%, that is enough to build another restaurant, right? And to continue to grow without needing outside investment. And those are just small things that we've seen. And it's just a domino effect from there. It's better labor, better prep, better cost of goods, good thing for the environment, happy people, all those kind of little things. Your faster table turnover. It's just a rolling effect that you don't realize until you're like in it and you're like, oh, everything is running smoother for somehow. I don't know why, but it is.
I'm curious, you mentioned good for the environment, and I often hear these claims when I talk to folks that are in your space. And I have to wonder, is sustainability really a key reason why brands are adopting technology like this, or is it more just like an ancillary, nice to have add on that there's less food waste?
I think it's a nice side effect. I think depending on the brand, it really is. But I think most brands, their first instinct is, oh, okay, I need to save money.
Yeah,
And food costs getting more expensive. How do I save money left and right to make sure I hit my margins? The environment piece is really nice because younger generations are really honing in on that concept. Like you want fresh food, you want good source ingredients, but you also want to make sure they don't throw a bunch of stuff away at the end of the night.
right.
So you're doing something good for the environment. And since we're a company that's based out of Germany and has kind of global offices now, it's been really a side effect that we enjoy because we're doing something good in this world without claiming it really big. But it's just a side effect that we are really proud of. It's like, okay, we do a little bit towards the greater good.
It makes sense, and I like that too. My last startup was in the sustainability space, so I am like naturally drawn to this topic. All right. Well, I'm curious to learn a little bit more about predictive demand and these models that you guys are using because there's got to be a lot that goes into that. Where do you like? What are the most important or influential elements of the models that drive the predictive, that drive the predictions around future demand? Uh, is it food type, menu structure, time of day, time of year? Like, what are the biggest variables that move the needle?
So we have over years of experience developed our own model, and really this is the key component. We're not third party sourcing stuff.
Okay.
We have developed this stuff in house, and we use historic sales and weather, which is a big factor. We're realizing more and more. And for some brands, it has a really big impact of, okay, if there is cold weather, people are much more likely to order these kind of things. To also include things like holidays. So what is happening on 4th of July? What is happening on Memorial Day? And to the point that we also understand seasonality as well. Like your summer season, you're gonna sell much more salads because people try to be healthy in the summer. They don't want heavy food. But in the winter, people are more hearty foods. They want that warmness, more soups, maybe, right? Understanding that change that happens in your P mix, but also in your sales distribution is really, really important. And we take this into considerations. And now we're expanding this even further and take this one step ahead. And I think this is going to be the big, big game changer. But we're adding this component of um, calendar type. So imagine you can type in as an operator all my historic events, LTOs, promos, local events, all those things, and have those all feed in, and the algorithm will pick them up and always be much, much more accurate because it knows all these little components too. And that's really the key component where we see this even be much, much better.
I was going to ask you about events because I know for things like weather, there are third-party databases you can tie in. You can find like what the weather is going to be like for the coming days. Are you doing anything like that with events today as well, like large events like concerts, sports games, things like that? Where you does that feed into what you do as well, or not today? That's down the road.
It depends on the customer basis. So we work with some customers where we heavily look into school behavior. of when school is on, when school is off, when it's teacher appreciation day,
I see.
because it really depends on their ordering behavior, and we need to adjust that concept. Um, but we worked with another concept that did a lot of trade shows. So we kind of helped them with that aspect. We know when historic trade shows happen and kind of predicted, okay, this is what we're going to do based on those trade shows because the same trade shows happening again. And then we'll create a more database as we go along to incorporate more local events. Is really really hard because there's not one source of truth
Right.
that you can connect to. So there is so many little components that we have to work with.
Got it. I'd like to understand a little bit better how you guys sit in the restaurant tech ecosystem. So I'm sure you have to build integrations with other platforms. What are the most important platforms for you guys to integrate with, like back office systems, POS? What are the ones that are required basically for you to run your business?
One big one is the POS system, just to get that data sync of what was sold, what was not sold, items, sales, all those fun stuff. We are adding on the labor component as well, just because you can assign tasks with our system and get understanding of like labor stuff. And we want to do more of that labor efficiency model of how does the labor tie into your prep with sales and all those kind of things. So we started connecting and doing things there as well. We have explored connecting to back of house systems as well. This is coming probably towards the end of the year more on the spectrum because we're trying to expand that path for us more to take more of that chunk that's currently happening for other back of house softwares, because we really know that, hey, we want to do a one-stop shop for everything, and then we'll take bits and pieces to get there. But we are pretty confident that we can deliver a tool that really entails all these things that people have been talking about for the last 10 years, it feels like.
All right. Well, this might have, I don't know if this is a good segue into my last question because you might have just answered it, but what do you see as like the next frontier for AI in restaurant kitchens? And what are you most excited about building next?
Yeah, I think the big thing is using generative AI much more in the day-to-day part. I just had conversations with one of my brand, and they're like, "Hey, this is what you build. It's really cool, but can you, excuse my language here, but dumb it down further? Like, just tell me what to do. I don't want to read graphics. I don't want to do tables and all that stuff. I just need the system to tell me what my problem is and how do I fix it."
Right.
And I think that's the next step that we're heading to. And we have the data points and the understanding. We just need to kind of merge all these things together. And I think that's, besides creating more of a back of house solution, that's the next big thing of an AI company that we are, that we want to take this to the next level and just not be another AI tool that halfway works, but really that tells the operator, okay, what do I do with this data point?
All right. Well, I think what you guys are doing is super interesting. This is a space that I like to follow closely. It's obviously really core to restaurant ops. So, really excited to see where PreciTaste goes over the next 12 to 24 months. Now, for everyone that is still watching or listening, we're about to move to our rapid fires segment. And basically, rapid fires, Kenneth, I'm going to ask him some questions. He has no idea what these questions are. I haven't prepped him or anything like that. The rule, Kenneth, is you should try to answer each of these questions with one word if you can. If you can't answer with one word, one sentence will work. Are you ready?
Right. Hit it.
All right. What is the biggest misconception about AI in restaurants?
That it actually works currently.
Okay. That's not true for all of the AI players in the space, but I definitely think for a lot of it, probably accurate. If you could automate just one task across a kitchen, what would that task be?
Um, God, probably labor scheduling.
Labor scheduling. All right, that's another hot space. What's the best restaurant tech innovation you've seen this year?
I would probably say our new Planner 2.0, once you see it, you're going to be blown away.
Okay. Uh, Predictive analytics or computer vision? Which excites you more?
Predictive analytics. I think that's we see much more there in the in the short term.
Right. Can you think of a book, an article, or a podcast that's influenced your thinking on tech and ops in restaurants?
A really, really great book I just read recently. It's called what's it called? It's something about AI. It's like I wish I knew it now, but it is around explains really well what generative AI is, how it works, and how to utilize in your day to day. It is I if you really want to understand the space and how to use it, I highly recommend this book 110%.
Well, we'll look it up after and we'll drop it in the comments so people have it. Um, all right, and last one. In one sentence, what will kitchens look like in 5 years that's different compared to how they look today?
I think we'll have more kitchens with systems that tell you what to do and less thinking from the employees.
Great. Well, I hope for PreciTaste's case that is the way that it evolves. I think it's probably a safe bet. Kenneth, I want to thank you very much for your time. Thanks for joining me here today. Everyone, Kenneth Hallwachs, head of customer at PreciTaste. Thanks, Kenneth.
Thank you, Justin.